What's goody? Thank y'all for coming to my channel. My name is Mr. Risk the Limit. On this channel, we talk about everything finance, including credit, banking, and entrepreneurship. So without further ado, actually, wait. I want to thank you all for, if you're a subscriber, for being subscribed. We hit the achievement of 200 subs, as I explained in my last video. But you guys did that without even me having to upload a single video for the last month. And I gained over 50 subs without uploading, and you guys really carried my channel through that. So now I'm here, I've got an upgraded setup, and we're gonna go crazy on these YouTube videos. So let's go. I think this is gonna be 2 in a row, so I think I'll upload one today and tomorrow that you guys are gonna get. And this is gonna be how to get an 850 credit score. This is the complete blueprint, how to actually get an 850 credit score. So let's get right into this, bro. Let's get right into how we do this. So without further ado, let's go. So the credit topics of this video is going to be: what is credit, the credit score range, the 5 elements of a credit score, maximizing the points of a credit score, and then some real life credit building scenarios for anybody that's watching, no matter what situation you're in. I'm going to give you guys a scenario that you guys can use to build your credit. So let's go. This is even for beginners, advanced, intermediates. It doesn't matter. Stick to the end. I'm going to give you guys some real life credit building scenarios. Let's go. So first thing about me, my name is Mr. Risk the Limit. That is the handsome guy you guys are watching on your screen right now. And my educational background, I'm currently in college majoring in finance, but most of my credit knowledge, I actually got it from extensive training on YouTube. So basically free training on YouTube and some finance books. Another part of my credit knowledge actually came from very high level mentorships, which I actually paid to get. And now I'm giving you guys all of that information for completely free. So use this information to excel your credit journey, and use it really because it can be valuable to you in the rest of your life, because credit is something that is very important for you and for everyone around you. So if this video helps you in any way, share it to somebody. But let's get right into it. So what is credit? Let me give you guys the literal definition of credit. So this is the ability of a customer to obtain goods or services before payment based on the trust that payment will be made in the future. So if I give you something and I expect you to return it, that is basically me extending you credit. But credit has more meanings. So some of the meanings that I've given it is: credit is OPM, which stands for other people's money. And we leverage OPM to acquire things. So once we acquire things, that means that credit is debt, because good debt is used to acquire assets, things that have value or that can make you some money. And that includes stocks, crypto, real estate, commodities, anything that you buy that over time makes you money or increases in value. But debt can also be bad. So bad debt is used to buy liabilities, things that lose value or make you money, which can be cars, boats, clothes, electronics, etc. Anything that loses value over time or loses you money is considered bad debt, aka a liability. So with that, the things that we use our credit for considers our behavior. So credit could also be behavior, because when lenders extend you their money, they're giving you that money in the hopes that you pay it back. So how we manage that money that they gave you is what determines your credit score. So now that we know what credit is, let's get into the credit score range. And basically on this presentation, I gave you guys the FICO score. The reason that I'm giving you guys the FICO score over the Vantage score is because the FICO is a lot more prevalent when banks give you lending. For example, the Vantage score is what you guys see on Credit Karma. That score is not the most accurate, because when banks are deciding on if they extend you credit or not, most of the times they're going to be checking your FICO score. So that's what I'm going to be covering in today's video. So as we can see, the score ranges from 300 all the way to 850. And if we see here in the middle, 67% of Americans have over a 670 credit score, which is, to FICO, is considered a good credit score. And if we look at the inverse of that, 33% of people have less than a good score, which to FICO is a 670 score. So 33% of people have less than a 670, right? That and if we do some math within the US, the population of the US is 334 million. So a third of the population, right? 33% have bad credit. So that means that over 110 million people in the United States of America have bad credit, have less than a 670 credit score. So just based off the statistics, 1 in 3 people that are watching this video have lower than a 670. So that's why this video is super important on how you guys can maximize and get that 850 credit score. So stay tuned. We're going to be going over that now. So let's break down an actual credit score. The 5 elements of a credit score contain these right here. The most important being your payment history at 35%. It's basically the history of the payments that you made on your credit accounts. Then the second most important is your amounts owed, which is 30% of your credit score. This is basically how much credit you owe and your credit utilization. Next, the third biggest category is going to be your length of credit, which is 15% of your score. That's basically your credit age, right? How long that you guys have had your credit. Then we get into the fourth most important, which is your credit mix. So this is the mix of diverse credit types on your account. I'm going to be going over that later, but it's basically diversifying your credit profile. Finally, the last 10% is new credit. So any new credit accounts that you get and any new hard inquiries that you get because of getting those new accounts, that is 10% of your score. So that breaks down the whole 100%, the whole pie of your credit score. Now that we know the percentages, let's really break this down. So 850 is the highest credit score, right? I told you guys that in a couple slides ago. Now let's convert each percentage that I gave you guys in the last slide into points, into something that we can actually use. So to do this, we multiply each percentage by 850 to get the point equivalent for each element. If I'm going too fast for you guys, I'm sorry, but slow down the video and take screenshots and really memorize this thing really to the best of your ability, because it is very important. It can change your life and, change the outcome of your life in the future. So if I'm going fast, you guys know what to do. Pause the video, replay it, do your thing. So to get the point equivalent for each element, we want to bring back the elements before, right? We bring back the payment history, the length of credit, the credit mix, all of those elements from before, and we multiply by 850 to then get the point equivalent. So these percentages equate to your point value on your credit score. So the biggest element being your payment history is almost 300 points. And it goes down from there. So now that we know each of these points, I'm going to break down how we can maximize the points in each category, how we can get the maximum points to get that maximum 850 credit score. Let's go. Let's do it. So maximizing the points, the biggest and the most important category, as I said before, is your payment history. So this is worth almost 300 points out of 850. This is the biggest and most important category. So guys, the way that we can maximize this, easiest way to maximize this is to never pay late or miss a payment. It's easier said than done, but that's how we can maximize this. And I want to give you guys a quick hack on how we can do this. So basically, we would want to set up auto pay. So basically, we would want to set up auto pay on all of your cards so you make sure you never miss a payment, so you always pay on time. The simple trick is setting up at least the minimum payment, because maybe you don't want to pay off the full balance every month, right? If you're in credit card debt and you don't want to pay off the full balance, you don't have to. You can at least pay the minimum. That way you're always getting an on-time payment and you never miss any payments and get a late payment on your credit. This is super important because I do credit repair myself sometimes for family members and friends, and getting late payments off of their credit report is one of the hardest things to remove. So that is why I recommend you guys to really, really maximize this category and just set up auto pay and never get a late payment. If you guys get a late payment and you guys don't do credit repair to try to get it removed, it's going to be on your credit profile for 7 years. So if you guys want to be in credit hell for 7 years, go ahead, don't do any of this. But if you don't want to be, you want to be in credit heaven, right, where we're getting big boy funding and using our credit to make us money, then go ahead and set up this quick hack on how we can maximize the biggest category in our credit. So there you guys go. That's a quick hack for that. Now let's get into the second most important category. That's going to be your amounts owed, aka your credit utilization, how much credit you're utilizing. This is worth 255 points out of 850, 30% of our score. The easiest way that we can maximize this is by keeping our credit card balances at least under 30%, keeping them low, right? That's the minimum, at least under 30. You don't want to pass that, because then you're getting into high utilization territory. And once you're in that and you don't come down from there, no banks want to give you any more credit because they see you're utilizing all of your previous credit. So that is the minimum that we want to say, at least under 30%. But ideally, we want to be under 10%. And really the ideal range, I'm going to give it to you guys at the end of the video, but we want to be under 10% is super, super ideal. But there is a range that FICO recommends themselves to be in between. That's from 1 to a certain number, but it's under 10%. I'm going to give it to you guys at the end of the video. So stay tuned to get that secret hack that not a lot of people really know. So that's that. But the quick hack for you guys that I am going to give you on this page is going to be to know your statement date. And for those of you who don't know what a statement date is, it's basically the date that whatever balance you have on your credit card or personal loan or whatever, they're going to report that statement balance to the credit bureaus, right? To Experian, to Equifax, and to TransUnion. So if we know that date, then we can pay off our balance before our statement date hits. Let's say our statement date is on the 31st, right? The last day of the month. We can use our card that whole month and max it out if we want to. But the day before the statement date hits, right? The 30th, the day right before the 31st, we pay off the balance to get at least under 10%. And so when the 31st hits the next day, they're going to see that, okay, this guy maintained his balance under 10%, even though I was using my card the whole month. So that is a little myth that some people think they can't use their card within the month, right? No, you can. You can use your whole limit if you want, pay it back, use it again, pay it back, use it again. But you have to make sure you know that statement date, because whatever balance is on your credit card at that statement date is what they're going to report to the credit bureaus. And if it's high, now you have high utilization. But if it's low, then that's where you want to be able to maximize this second most important category on your credit. So now that we know the first most important and the second most important, let's get on to the third most important category. So the third most important is going to be your length of credit. And this is worth 127.5 points out of 850 at 15% of our score. And really, I'm going to give you guys some categories on how we can maximize this. So for the first category, 2+ years of age puts you in the good category. Then 4+ years of age puts you in the great category. But finally, where we all want to be is 8+ years of age is going to put us in the excellent category, in the top tier category when it comes to credit score. And a lot of you guys may think, okay, we just have to wait the time, right? This factor of our credit is not controllable. Well, then you would be wrong, because I'm going to give you guys a quick hack on how we can actually manufacture age on our credit. What we want to do is ask family or friends to add you as an authorized user on cards that have a long credit age. So basically, once they do that, they're going to add you as an authorized user, and that card, whatever it is, whatever age it has, let's say it's 10 years, that 10 years is going to go on your credit profile as an authorized user. And when bank is looking to give you credit, they're going to see that you have all that credit age. So that is how we can kind of get into that range of 8+ years. And this length of credit is really the average age of all your accounts. So if you had an account that you got 4 years ago, one that you got 2 years ago, and then one that you just got, your average age of those three, we add them all up. This one has 4 years, this one has 2, this one has 0. We add those up. The sum of those is 6 divided by 3 accounts. So we have an average age of 2 years. You're going to be in the good category. But let's say with that same example, we add that 10-year authorized user, right? So now we add 10 plus 4 plus 2. That's going to be 16 divided by 4, because now we have 4 accounts. So we'll have an average age of 4 years on our credit profile, which is going to bring us to a great. So the more we can do that, the more authorized users you guys can get to add age is better. But really, ideally, when a bank looks at your profile, they want to look at your primary accounts, the ones that you really own, not the authorized users, to check the age. So basically, we just have to let the accounts on our credit age for a long time, as well as building some authorized user trade lines. I would say stick to a maximum of 2 authorized user trade lines on your report, because then it looks a little weird if you have a lot of authorized user trade lines and maybe only a couple cards. So stick to only 2 and stick to really building your own credit profile with your own primary accounts. But that is how we can maximize the third most important category. If we take a look, the first category was 300 points. The second one was 250. And then this third one is 127. If we add those up, that is almost a 780 credit score. It's like a 750. It's like a 750 credit score. So that's almost really to a very, very good credit score. If we maximize the top 3 categories, we're in a good range and we have a good credit score. But of course here, we want to maximize our credit score to try to get that 850. Let's get into the 4th most important category and how we can do that. So credit mix is the 4th most important, and it's worth 85 points out of 850, being 10% of your credit score. The way that we can maximize this is by getting multiple diverse account types. Let me give you guys the quick hack on the different type of account types when it comes to credit. So the quick hack is at least 1 to 2 revolving credit lines. That's one type of credit account type. And revolving credit can be credit cards or personal lines of credit. And then we want at least 1 to 2 installment credit lines. That is the second type of credit account. And that can be a mortgage, an auto loan, a personal loan, a student loan, or even like a home improvement loan. I know some banks that offer home improvement loans for you guys to get. So this is the 2 types of diverse account types that we want on our credit. And we want at least 1 to 2 of each. So 1 to 2 revolving and then 1 to 2 installment to really diversify our credit mix and be able to maximize and get these 85 points out of 850 to maximize that credit score. So that's how we do that. Now that we know that, the 4th most important, let's get into the final 5th most important. If you guys want to get an 850 credit score, stay tuned. I'm going to give you guys how we can break this down and get a maximum score of 850 if you follow the steps I just gave you. So finally, the 5th most important category is your new credit. And this is worth 85 points out of 850 at 10% of your score. So the way that we can maximize this is sticking to getting quality credit lines. What do I mean by this? So basically, every time you get a new account, a new credit card, a new loan, you get a hard inquiry, and that goes against your new credit category. So that's going to bring your credit score down, right? We want to stick to getting quality lines, meaning high tier bank lines and good quality lines with low interest, and not getting a bunch of these fluffy, trashy cards like store cards or Credit One cards. You feel me? So we want to stick to getting just regular quality lines from good banks like Chase, Amex, Bank of America. These good lines will really boost up your score and allow you to maximize this new credit because you're not going out there and getting a bunch of fluffy and trashy credit cards, right? So the quick hack on this is actually go for cards that only do soft pulls. Off the top of my head, one of the cards that does this is the Apple Card. I'm going to be dropping a special video on the Apple Card on how we can get it as a soft pull, on how I did it and how many other people get it as a soft pull without even getting a hard inquiry. But there is a little hack that you guys have to do. So I'm going to be going through a full video. I'm going to be making a full video on how to get the Apple Card with only a soft inquiry. So off the top of my head, that's one of the ones that does soft pulls. There are more, but we just have to find them. And once I do, I'll give you guys that information. So that is the 5th most important category. If you guys looked before, we talked about all 5 categories on how to really maximize that 850 credit score. I broke it down step by step, all of them, and how I would maximize each category for you guys to get that 850. So now that we know that, now that you guys are going to take that information and, be actionable with it, I hope that's what you guys are doing with these videos. I'm giving you guys a lot of education and a lot of information for you guys to be actionable and, take action when it comes to this information that I'm giving you. So now that you guys know that, you guys know how to maximize your credit score, let's get into some real life credit building strategies. So even if you kind of understood what I was talking about in the previous slides, I'm going to give you guys some IRL, some real life credit building scenarios and strategies for anybody who is watching this video, no matter what situation you're in. So let's get into it. But before we do, we have to ask ourselves some questions. The first one is, what are our current banking relationships? This will be a big factor to determine how lenient banks are in giving you credit. Because, for example, if I was with Chase for 5 years and you watching this video was with Wells Fargo for 5 years, you're more lenient to get a Wells Fargo credit card, while I'm more lenient to get a Chase credit card. So that's what we have to look at when we're going to get credit. The second question is, where are you geographically located? And this will allow you to get into different institutions that are regional or geo-restricted. Me, for example, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. There's a lot of good banks down here, but you watching this, you can be in California, Wyoming. I don't know where you guys are watching this from, but 5 times out of 10, you're probably not watching this from Georgia. So you have to look at the banks that are in your location to be able to realize what banks you can actually get into, because those banks have different requirements, have different, credit requirements and credit products. So you guys have to look at that. And finally, the last question is, what rewards and goals are you guys looking to get? For me, for example, I do a lot of travel points. The video that I made before this is how you guys can travel for free. That's what I like to stick to when it comes to credit, as well as 0% APR that I can leverage for my business or for, educating myself further. But anything that I can buy that will make me money, I'll use 0% interest cards to not pay any interest if I don't have the capital on hand. So that's what I recommend you guys also look into: how to travel for free and how to get 0% APR. So these are the 3 questions that we have to honestly ask ourselves to be able to get some real life credit building scenarios. So now let's get into scenario number 1. You're completely new to credit. So if you don't have anything on your credit, right, you're completely new, you don't have a single credit card, this is what I recommend. You need to start your credit ASAP. You honestly needed to start it when you turned 18. But if you haven't, I'm going to tell you guys how you can start it today, right now, after watching this video. So I recommend getting 1 credit card and 1 secured loan. So that is the 2 things I recommend if you're brand new to credit. Let's get into, but I'm not going to just leave it at that. Those are the recommendations I would make. But now let's actually get into the specific cards that I would recommend you guys get. So the first credit card recommendation I would recommend is the Discover It student card. This was actually my very first card when I turned 18, and it's one that I recommend to a lot of people that don't have any credit. It's good for students because it has very high approval chances if you're a college student, but they even have a regular Discover It card where you have high approval chances if you're new to credit but you're not a student. So this is a great card I would recommend for a lot of people. The next card would be the Chase Freedom Rise. This is a very easy card to get with Chase. I made a whole video on my channel how you guys can get this card step by step and get a guaranteed approval. So go watch that. That is one of the second cards I would recommend to getting if you're brand new to credit. So now let's get into the secured loan recommendations. So the secured loans I would recommend, these are the 3 institutions. Of course, you guys knowing me, my channel, I like to talk about Navy Federal a lot. My biggest recommendation on this would be the Navy Federal Pledge Loan. If you guys are able to get into the Pledge Loan and get into Navy Federal, which all of you who are subscribed to my channel really should be able to, because I've dropped multiple videos on how to get into Navy Federal and even breaking down how to get a $40,000 pledge loan. So if you guys are new to my channel, you don't know about that video, please check it out. I might link it here in the corner of the video. If I don't, go to my channel, check out how to get a $40,000 Navy Federal pledge loan. It can really help you build your credit very fast. But if you guys, for some reason, don't want to watch my channel, don't want to get into Navy Federal, I included these 2 right here. So Andrews and Service Credit Union, you guys can get the shared secured loan. Basically a secured loan where you guys put money up and then pay it back every single month to get an installment loan on your credit. The reason I recommended a credit card and a secured loan is because the credit card is revolving credit and the loan is installment credit. So that's what I recommend. So now that we have the first scenario out of the way, you guys know that. Next, let's get into scenario number 2. You're a beginner/intermediate with credit. And this is what I recommend for you guys. First is, if you're not with Amex, I would definitely recommend getting with Amex. I have this card as well, the Amex Blue Cash Everyday card. It's literally the first card I got with Amex. It has no annual fee, and you guys get 3% back on, I think, restaurants, gas, and online purchases. So this is a very good card to start getting a relationship with Amex. The next card is the Chase Sapphire Preferred. This card is great for those of you who want to start getting travel points. This card is, you guys can get a great sign-on bonus with this card to be able to start traveling completely for free, as I explained in my last video. So this is a super good card, and it's a Visa signature. So this card can go up to very high limits, 25K, 30K, very high limits. So these are the 2 cards I would recommend if you're intermediate with credit, meaning you might have 1 or 2 cards on your credit and you want to go and do the next step. If you're intermediate but you don't have a secure loan on your credit, I would definitely recommend still getting a secure loan to be able to get that installment credit type on your credit. So that's been scenario number 2. But finally, the last scenario, you're also a credit guru. You're watching this video. You're advanced with credit, right? What I recommend is some advanced cards. The first one I would recommend is the Amex Gold card. This is a very good card if you also want to start getting into travel, but you do a lot of spend, let's say on restaurants, on I think gas as well. You guys will get 4x points. The only thing about this card is it has a $325 annual fee. So with this card, you want to make sure you're getting more benefit and you're getting more value than that annual fee for you to justify getting this card. But it's one that I highly recommend if it suits you and you research it and spending categories fit with your spending categories, because you guys can get high sign-up bonuses to be able to also travel completely for free. So that's the first one. The second advanced credit card I would recommend is the Chase Sapphire Reserve. And this is the highest tier card when it comes to Chase cards. And it does come at a steep $550 annual fee, but it's still a great card. It has a Visa Infinite logo, meaning this card can have an infinite limit of whatever Chase is granting you. So if you've used this card for a long time, Chase can really give you an infinite limit on this card. And yeah, that's pretty much the advanced credit card recommendations. This card really gives you guys a lot of benefits for club access and priority pass access when it comes to getting lounge in the airport. So if you guys want to start traveling for free, get a good sign-up bonus and use this card as a Visa Infinite card. I think it has no foreign transaction fee as well, so you can even use it abroad. This is a great card to start getting into to build that travel point, system and that piggy bank of travel points. So there you guys go. That's my advanced credit card recommendation. So now that I gave you guys that, let's go over a quick recap so you guys remember what value I gave you guys in this video. So I gave you guys what was credit, the literal definition, and some meanings that I gave it. Then I gave you guys the credit score range. It ranges from 300 to 850. Then I broke down the 5 elements of a credit score. Remember the payment history, the amounts owed. I broke all that down for you guys so you know what to do when it comes to credit. Then finally, I told you guys how to maximize your points so we can get that maximum 850 credit score. And I broke down even each category for you guys to take actionable steps to be able to get that 850 credit score. Finally, I gave you guys even more actionable steps for you guys to take with some real life credit building scenarios. No matter where you are in your credit journey, you guys can go back to the scenarios and see what is best for you and do that, what I recommend for you guys, depending on the scenario you're in. So no matter where you are, you can build your credit and start your credit journey. So that's been the quick recap. If you guys enjoyed the presentation, you guys enjoyed the video, the style of the video, and you want to keep learning more, I highly recommend you guys subscribe to this YouTube channel. I go over videos on how to get your first Amex card with the instant approval, how to remove collections from your credit report. That's actually an in-depth video breaking down one of the collections I removed from my own report, and I removed it in 2 weeks. And then another video finally is how to get a $50,000 Navy Federal card. This is actually one of the videos where I broke down how to get into Navy Federal. So if you guys saw the previous slides and were like, how can I get that pledge loan? This is one of the videos that explains how to actually get into Navy Federal and then how to get a $50,000 Navy Federal card. So if you guys want to check me out and want to keep, watching videos like these, go ahead, subscribe to me on YouTube and check out my Instagram as well if you guys want to ask me any questions. My is at Risk to Limit, Mr. Risk to Limit. I thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, if you guys enjoyed, go ahead and leave a like. Subscribe to the channel. If you already subscribed, thank you so much for building this awesome community that we have. But that's been the video. Comment what you want to see next.